Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have yet another VPN review with a spotlight on Expressvpn. Now this has been requested by a lot of you guys, and rightfully so. Express has dominated the VPN market for the past few years and has been on everyone's top VPN lists. But how does it hold up going into 2024? Is it still at the top of the VPN market? Well, stick around because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about Expressvpn, such as privacy policies, cost, streaming and torrenting capabilities, and security features, so that you can decide whether or not it's the right choice for you. Also, if at any point in this video you wanted to check out Expressvpn for yourself, you'll find all the useful links, including a special discount in the description down below. Okay, let's kick this off by talking about Expressvpn's streaming and torrenting capabilities. Now, it is true that most people mainly use VPNs to protect their personal data, but at the same time, a huge fraction of the user base would prefer having a VPN that can also access international content. You know, two birds with one stone. And that's exactly what Expressvpn can do. Now, I've tested a whole lot of VPNs, and only a handful of them were able to access streaming services. And even then, these VPNs were only able to access very few Netflix libraries, probably one or two. And most of the time, I had to jump between servers to find one that wouldn't crash in the middle of a movie. Whereas with Expressvpn, you don't get any of these issues. It has over 3,000 servers spread across 105 countries, allowing you to access over 20 Netflix libraries. And the best part is, all of these servers work really well with the streaming services, and I've rarely experienced any dropped connections or issues while watching my favorite shows. And this is not exclusive to just Netflix, by the way. It also expands to other streaming platforms like Hulu, BBC iPlayer, HBO Max, and many more. As for torrenting, Expressvpn allows you to torrent freely, as it has no internet bandwidth limit at all. In fact, it even gives you some tools to make your torrenting experience as safe as possible. For example, there is a kill switch that would immediately sever your internet connection in case you accidentally disconnected from the VPN server, which rarely happens, by the way. This way, neither your ISP nor anyone else can see your internet activity, no matter what happens. This not only helps in torrenting activities, but it also helps those of you who live in rather restrictive countries to access the internet freely. And in case you want to use Express for just the torrenting software, the split tunneling feature will allow you to do just that. Now, since we've talked about some of Expressvpn's features, I want to talk about a little nitpick I had in this regard. Express is not that heavy on features compared to other premium VPNs like Nord and Surfshark, but I used the term had because I've actually changed my mind about this recently, and that's because Expressvpn has made a lot of progress when it comes to features. But before we get into these improvements, I want to emphasize that Expressvpn is designed to be easy to use by everyone. They purposefully excluded some granular control options to make the app as accessible as possible for beginners and even intermediate users. It's a big ick for these users, especially if they have to spend 10 minutes configuring settings, googling what encryption levels do, and finding the right protocols. From the get-go, everything is automatic. They present both the best protocols to use at the time and even select the best server that you connect to. All you need to do is click the On button and go about your day. And if you want to choose the protocol manually and tweak some options, you also get to do that with Express, as they have found the right balance between beginner and advanced options. Now, I did say that they are not heavy on features, but that's only compared to other premium options. Express still offers you all the features you need, like split tunneling and a kill switch. And as I mentioned earlier, they've added even more impressive features to improve their app. For example, they've added an advanced protection feature that blocks ads, trackers, and malicious sites. Plus, you can use this feature as a simple form of parental control by blocking adult sites. And another bonus you get is a free Express Password Manager as a Chrome extension, so you don't have to pay for a separate password manager, and it's just as easy to use the VPN app. This continuous improvement is definitely something to look for when choosing a VPN. Alright, so another area that Express excels at is speed and performance. Now, it's only natural for all VPNs to experience drops in speed, and that's due to the time it takes for them to encrypt your data. But how much the speed drops is what makes or breaks a VPN. Generally speaking, any drop in speed between 10% and 25% is considered excellent. Even up to 40% is considered good. But anything above that is just sacrificing your speed, and nobody wants that. So in the case of Expressvpn, the speed drops were in that excellent 10 to 25% area, with the 25% speed drop happening while I was connected to extremely remote servers. You know, I just had to test the extent of it, and I was not disappointed. This speed also works really well in case you're using it for gaming, especially if you use the lightweight UDP protocol and connect to a server close to your gaming servers. As for streaming, I was able to watch some shows in high quality, and in some instances, I was even able to watch shows in 4K. Now, one of the biggest strengths of Expressvpn, in fact, its biggest strength, is its privacy policy. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to check the privacy policy of a VPN before you make your purchase. According to a study by Forbes, around 66% of VPN users use it to protect their personal information, However, most VPNs, especially cheap or free VPNs, usually sell your data behind the scenes to fund their operations. So it's definitely not enough for a VPN to just claim they don't log your data. They gotta show proof as well. And the way to do that is by basically going through independent audits done by reputable companies, which would put your privacy policies as well as the functionality of the VPN to the test, which is exactly what Expressvpn has done. Express has gone through several audits by reputable companies such as Cure53 and PwC that confirms their commitment to their policy. While you might be asking, other VPNs have gone through the same thing, what could possibly make Expressvpn more special? Well, other than these independent audits, Express has gone through a real-life stress test where one of their servers was seized by the Turkish government in an ongoing investigation, but they weren't able to extract any useful data from that server because Express operates on RAM-only servers, which means that there are no drives to store data on, and whatever is left on the server would be wiped out with every server reboot. And the cherry on top of all of this is that Expressvpn operates in the British Virgin Islands, which is not part of the 14 Eyes Alliance, which are the countries that share intelligence with each other as part of an agreement. And so being put on the spot and tested in real-life situations is basically the ultimate test for any service, and Express did not disappoint, making it the most secure VPN out there. Also, to further boost their security status, Expressvpn uses the top-of-the-line encryption as well as their own zero-knowledge DNS servers, and they even accept Bitcoin payments to give their users the utmost anonymity, and to top it off, they're available on almost every single device and platform, allow up to 8 simultaneous connections, which is more than enough, and have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now you might be wondering, that all sounds so great, but what about the cost? Well, I've reviewed a lot of VPNs, and did in fact notice that Express tends to cost $1 or $2 more than its competitors. But if you factor in everything you're getting with the service, like the most secure privacy policy, one of the largest country lists out there, and access to almost all streaming platforms, these $2 per month are extremely worth it. At the end of the day, it's just as much as buying a bag of chips, so to speak. Now let me tell you a little bit about the plans so you know how to get the best bang for your buck out of your subscription. Basically, Express gives you 3 plans to choose from. There's a month-at-a-time plan for $12.95 per month, a 6-month plan for around $10 per month, or a 12-month plan for $8.32 per month. However, if you use the link in the description, you get 3 months free, and so the 12-month plan drops down to $6.67 per month. Now, out of curiosity, I spoke with Express and they mentioned that a lot of people end up spending more on monthly renewals than they would have with the yearly plan, because the typical pattern is that people renew monthly, thinking they might not need a VPN long term. So unfortunately, they end up spending more money than they would have going with the yearly plan, especially with the discount code we provided below. So ultimately, if you know you're not going to need Express for longer than a month, definitely get the monthly plan. But if there's a chance you might end up using it longer than a month, you might want to go with the longer term plan. And then if you change your mind or realize you won't need it that long, you can always get a refund and go back to just a month at a time plan. Okay, before I share my final thoughts, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about: Expressvpn's customer support. Another strength of Expressvpn is that they have 24/7 live chat support. I think it's important for cybersecurity services to be available all the time because they handle user data, which is serious business. Expressvpn not only meets this expectation but goes a step further by offering technical troubleshooting. Unlike some other VPNs, which may only answer simple questions or direct you to a ticketing system, which can be frustrating, Expressvpn provides hands-on help. So if you're like me and you hate waiting hours or even days for a reply and would much rather have instantaneous help, then Express is a great option. Alright, so would I recommend Expressvpn? Well, absolutely. Now, I get that the price may be a tad bit higher than other VPNs, and it doesn't have the granular control over settings you might find elsewhere, but putting these two nitpicks aside, Expressvpn can arguably be considered the best VPN on the market, especially if you're a beginner. And that's because it's extremely simple to use, super fast, and you're able to access a huge variety of streaming libraries and services that are not available to you. It has the most verified no-logs policy that gives you peace of mind no matter where you are, and as long as Express is on, no one can pry on your data. I would highly recommend you give it a shot, as it's a perfect fit for most users. And if you do actually give it a shot, you'll have 30 days to think about whether or not you want to make the commitment, and that's thanks to their 30-day money-back guarantee. And that'll be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to grab yourself the best discounts possible. Like and subscribe to see more of these videos, and let me know in the comments if there's anything cybersecurity you'd like me to cover. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.